Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another edition of SG1 Live. Today live from Katy International Sports Complex. Yes, in Katy, Texas. And today we're watching, if I'm not mistaken, one of our 2014 groups playing a scrimmage against one of our 2015 groups led by Coach Mike Carroll. So thank you for following us. I'm Alex Parra. And beside me, and Miss Producer, don't trip over that bag, please, because then the insurance rates go up and we have all kinds of problems. Beside me, the lovely and talented Norma Morales. Norma, happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Great. You know, weather's great, like what we talked about, you know?
Yeah.
It's not raining. It's not cold. It's not too hot. It's just perfect.
And I hear Queen across the street over
Yeah,
there, Norma.
are you like banging your head to the music? Yeah.
You know, that's more my style back in the day, Norma. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm going to offend people, right? The Swifties, as they call them, Norma.
You have to at least. Yeah. You got to say you're a Swiftie.
Are you a Swiftie?
You're online.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I love Taylor Swift. If that gets us likes, then we'll do that. Norma, what are you a big fan of? You're a big Bruno Mars fan.
Bruno Mars fan.
Selena-ish.
Selena, yes.
Yeah? Who else?
Those are probably my top two.
Yeah?
Yeah, what about you?
Well, I'm old school, Norma. I'm like Rolling Stones, Beatles back in the day.
Elvis.
A lot of 80s music. Not that far back. Far back.
I thought you were an Elvis fan.
Well, I do like Elvis.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Elvis was the man.
Who doesn't love Elvis?
That's right. So anyway, Norma, I'm going to be bold enough, but why don't we watch a little bit, Salma, if you can come this way. And let's take a look at this group, and Coach Mike is probably going to talk to his kids. Norma, one of the reasons we have this partnership with Katy International is because we're able to play small-sided.
Right.
There's an importance to small-sided games, to the format, and these are, what am I trying to say? Two of our top teams are here.
Right.
They're young, but they're very, very talented.
Yes.
And it's not only about the talent, it's what you do with a young person, a young player that has talent.
Right.
How do we develop them? And even though Coach Mike right now is talking to his players or about to talk to them at halftime, in a second I'm going to ask him about those kind of things. But Norma, you and I know that it's not only just the tactical side and the athletic side. It's about thinking and about starting to think for yourself when you're out there on the field.
Not only think about quick thinking, you know what I mean? Because of the fact that, you know, they've got to learn to, when they touch the ball, where are they going to pass it to? They've got to scan, etc. So, yeah, I mean, it is a lot of thinking in regards to the game, and this is the whole part of this process.
No, I'm going to interrupt you, but I'm going to put my mic. If you don't mind, Mr. Producer, follow me. Let's listen to Coach Mike as he talks to his kids here at halftime.
When we're talking, I want to hear us talking and giving direction when we talk, right? Secure, activate, rotate, through ball, right? So I want to hear us with a direction. Don't just say ball, 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 or pass, 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 right? Give a direction, give some information whenever you're talking to each other, okay? And then the other thing, the pass and the find the next space, all right? If we pass and find the next space, I want to see some 1-2s, some overlaps, some underlaps, some combination play. All right, guys? That's what I'd like to see you guys working on while we're out here. Now's the time to work on it when we're working on each other, okay? Get a quick sip, and then we'll get back on the field.
There you go. So just a little bit, Norma, of the aspect we just talked about, you know?
Right.
What to do, the thinking part of it, and look at these, I say beautiful, not in a weird way, but they're beautiful young people that are growing up, and this is a positive experience for them. In a second, when they start, Norma, I want to get in the middle of action if Coach Mike will let me. But I think this is one of those seeds, Norma, and this is an important part of who we are at SG1. It's the pathway to continue to improve, continuing to grow. It starts even younger than this age group.
Yeah, it starts a lot younger, you know. It's just the basics of just being able to kick the ball, you know what I mean? But, you know, these boys are a little bit more advanced, like what we talked about once before, Alex, is what we used to be, you know, and just watching them play and how they're pretty smooth on the ball, I should say. It's great. It's awesome to see that they're developing, especially at this age group.
It is. Come with me, Miss Producer. Before it starts, I want you to get a feel. And Norma's going to drop out of here apparently, but we'll jump in when Coach starts the game again and talk a little bit about what we're doing. And mainly, Norma, like we've talked about, I think it's the balance of the physical side, that mental side, and really thinking that makes such a difference. By the way, Norma, since I'm losing all of my hair, I look at this hair and I'm very jealous.
He's got beautiful hair.
He does.
Beautiful hair.
I wish I had any of that, Norma.
To the right.
But it ain't gonna happen, is it?
No.
It ain't gonna happen. Norma, there are wigs though.
Right.
Right. I can maybe go in that direction.
Yeah, you're on the right.
That's a whole different.
That's a whole conversation
That's
for
a whole
another day?
different. Yeah, that's a whole different segment there, Alex.
So I'm going to see if Mike doesn't hit me and we can jump in here. Coach Mike, how are you, sir?
We're doing good. We're having a good little scrimmage tonight internally. Both of their games got canceled due to heavy waters on the field, so we decided to scrimmage ourselves. Is basically what we decided to do.
Talk to us, and Ms. Producer, if you can focus on the game a little bit. It can be back and forth. Who do we have today here, Coach? And the quality of play is amazing. I never, even when I got older, had this quality of play. But who are the teams?
Was the goalkeeper come out and the right back drop into goal, and the goalkeeper just played the ball to right back and he played it out. So they're super intelligent. So what we have is we have our 2015 team in blue, and we have our 2014 team in white. Well, most of them at least. We had a few that couldn't make it to the scrimmage, right, due to the time. But it's most of them. It's the majority of the group, and we're really proud of them. Both of them play in the top bracket at U9, so they're playing really good soccer.
Coach Mike, one of the things that Norma and I were just talking about is you can take an athletic player, but it's also about the thinking and the mental part. How do you bridge those? Meaning, you can have a great athlete, but if he or she isn't focused and thinking, maybe it's not. They can reach a higher level if they combine the mental and the physical. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. The soccer is a thinking person's game, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the best decision makers will win over the best athletes. And so what we're looking for is here we work on a player's cognitive aspects, the understanding of spatial awareness, decision making, patience, those kinds of things, right? And they do this on their own. Finish it off, Colin, back post. Oy. So this is the kind of thing that they work on their own individual skills outside of us, while we work on their neck up kind of thing, the brain stuff.
Norma, I know you and I were talking, Norma, about the way we grew up in
Right.
the 11v11 fields, and back in our day, certainly back in my day, we didn't even think about small-sided, other than the neighborhood, right, playing
Right.
with kids. But maybe you want to address that with Coach, because I think it's one of the big pluses we have in our partnership with KD International, Norma.
Have it.
But also at this age group, this is where they need to be playing to get more touches.
Right, and going back, Alex, I could still hear my coach on the sideline telling me what to do, and here you don't see Coach
Job,
Mike
Oliver.
maybe every once in a while make a comment or so, you know what I mean, but not necessarily telling the kids what to do specifically every second of the game. So like what he just said, it's more of them making their own decisions, and teaching them how to do that and play smart, of course. It's a calm game. It's not like what you used to be, where you hear the coaches yell every second of what they need to do.
I'm not even going to touch that. Follow up on that, Coach Mike, because that's a great observation. How things are evolving. You want them to think, hopefully not hit us, and make their own decisions. We can't joystick players. We shouldn't. We do. I've done this as a coach, but maybe we shouldn't.
So what I make a point of here is talking to off of the ball players, right? I want the players on the ball to be able to make their own decisions. The players off of the ball need to be moving so that the player on the ball has as many options as possible, right? So I'm typically going to talk to the players off of the ball and just remind everybody to have their head up and make the good decisions. So you haven't heard me telling them where to play the ball, what to do, how to do it, or any of that other stuff, right? It's because they need to come out here and they need to make their own decisions and see the consequences or rewards of said decision. So that's what we base our methodology on.
So let me follow up on that. What leads to good decisions? Is it repetition? Is it giving them the opportunity to start thinking and making mistakes?
Yeah.
I think part of it, Coach, is, hey, I remember that because I didn't do well in that situation. That stays with you, and hopefully you correct it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So decision making is a skill like any other skill. It's a skill just like shooting or dribbling or passing, right? It's the same type of thing. All right. So they need reps. They need as many reps as you can get them in. So I only have them for roughly 3 hours a week in training, and then an hour a week for their games. So I have them for about 4 hours a week, and I need to get them in as many reps as I can during that time in decision making. So look, all of these things that are happening right now is them. Right, they're making these decisions on where to move off of the ball, where to move on the ball. He's a 2016, by the way.
And it's a joy to watch, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, I appreciate that. But these very hardworking kids, they do a lot of work outside of us on their own technical skills. They play futsal as well, so they do a lot of things technically to help develop themselves technically. Because I've told them, you know what, if you're not working on yourself outside of here, players who will leapfrog you at some point.
Sure.
And so they have to continue to work on themselves outside of here while I help them with the mental aspects of the game here. So our job as head coaches here is to work on the aspects of the game that they can't work on by themselves, right? That's what I try to do.
And to close here, Ms. Producer, if you can get a shot of the families, because that's where I want to go next in the stands. Mike, Coach Mike, and Norma, you know this. This is a partnership between us, a club, SG1, and families. Like you said, you've only got them for a limited amount of time. What happens to the rest of their week? Parents have to be involved, especially at an early age. We've talked about starting early with the ball, even if it's home with the ball, even if it isn't anything organized. But talk to us about that piece of it, the families, their involvement, and how really we partner together in their development.
Yeah, so I mean, what you're talking about with the families is the culture in the house, right? That's what we're looking for here. Their internal home culture. Yeah. Oi. Right here. Yeah, Maxie. So you're talking about their internal home culture is what we're talking about here. Watch this hit.
We'll watch this.
Yeah, he's got a laser if he hits it right.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Good shot. Well done. Good follow. There you go.
So, yeah, you're talking about their internal home culture is what we're talking about there. The things that they do, how do the parents embrace the game, embrace the development? Where do they play in the part? And if the child is feeling like they're getting love, involved in support, and involved in all of it, it'll help them fall in love with the game, want to play with the ball more at home, want to do more things. If the parents are super involved and don't just tell them go to the backyard and give me 100 passes with each foot. You don't want to do that. You want to go, maybe you jump out there with them.
That interaction is huge.
Yeah, it's super important because they're looking at that as this game is something that's bringing the two of them together.
Yeah.
And so it's a real big deal. And I can say with 100% certainty that every player out here has that. And that's one of the reasons why they're here. It's not 100% me or our club or anything. It's a combination of those things. So like I said, we try to make them feel good about being here and help them want to be here and playing together and maximizing themselves. It's a good mix of self-discipline and expectations with enjoyment,
of course,
right? So all of that there has to be a mix of all of that for children in any educational system, right. and that's what this is. This is an educational environment.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's the way I look at this. We look at this as a soccer education.
Yeah. Coach Mike, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. So,
thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Norma.
So Norma, they're just another example of the mindset, the philosophy behind what we're trying to do here at SG1, and then what you see on the field.
Right.
And this doesn't happen overnight,
Yeah.
and it doesn't happen with every group and every child, but that's part of the process. That sometimes, Norma, you and I have talked about this, we have to be patient, let the process play out.
That's important. It's patience. I've seen it with my own.
I've been very patient with you, Norma.
I've seen it with my own
Trying.
kids. It's just being, every child learns differently and they develop at different stages.
Yep.
Even though and
Some like me never develop, but that's another story.
But this is the thing, Alex, and I've lived through it, and sometimes, and I see it that parents will get kind of discouraged, like, oh, my son's not at that level. You know what? Listen, be patient. You have to be patient. My story personally is, my daughter really didn't flourish into soccer until later at age. She was not as phenomenal, and she'll tell you she was not as phenomenal as these kids at this age group. But once she hit a certain age, it changed.
Yeah.
So I just, as a parent to other parents, just be patient, continue to work with them. And like this morning earlier, I saw a lot of parents, like what Coach Mike was saying, parents have to be involved. And if you play with them, they know that, hey, this is a family thing. It just encourages them more as well.
And the key is what you said. Parents, families, you have to be involved.
Right.
We hope it's with SG1. If it isn't, be involved in the lives of your children, certainly when it comes to sport and school and everything. Our involvement as parents can make a big, big difference. So we want to thank the boys. I think it's all boys today out here. The teams for being here, the parents for supporting them, Coach Mike for setting this scrimmage up, even though they didn't, or their games got canceled because of weather. That comes with it, but still staying active is important. So Norma, thank you. Thanks for putting up with me and not yelling at me too much because I deserve it. We appreciate it, and more than anything, Miss Producer, thank you. Can you shake? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there you
hopefully
go.
she's there.
She's awesome.
helping us. She's okay. She's on a trial.
We have her on a probation period
for the
for
moment.
employment,
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
she is
fair.
doing a
We'll
phenomenal
see if she stays
job.
with us. We
Yeah.
may get a new producer by next week. I'm just joking. She's awesome, and so are you, ladies and gentlemen, that follow us. Until next time, when we get together, maybe here at Katy International, maybe elsewhere on this, what we call SG1 Live.